Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to being here. I'm Ariel.
And Shya.
Today's episode is the sticking point. We just read the description to ourselves because the sticking point doesn't really say anything in particular, except for this really is about when you get stuck in a moment in time, sometimes a tragic event or circumstance you disagreed with replays over and over. And if you're willing to move on, this is the right podcast to be listening to. There's the possibility today you can experience your ability to dissolve the glue that holds you stuck in the past.
I like that.
It requires
listening.
Yes, listening.
It requires listening. See, you listen, but you listen to your thoughts and you listen to your reasons why and why not. But that isn't discovering how to be present in current time, which allows for things to dissolve. If you're really with what's going on in your life, you move on. If you disagree with what's going on in your life, you get stuck there. It's just that simple. It is, in fact, the first principle of instantaneous transformation, that when you resist anything, you get stuck with what you resist. If you say, no, I don't want this, I don't like this, it isn't fair, life isn't fair. You know that, don't you?
Absolutely.
Life is absolutely not fair. Life doesn't care. It's like gravity. Gravity doesn't care that you were a good kid. When you leaned over too far, it threw you onto the ground anyway. But it was a great teacher.
Because it was neutral.
Right. It wasn't, I'm angry with you, that's why I'm throwing you to the floor.
Or you're a good kid. I won't do it today.
Nah. But it's consistent. Anyway, you get stuck with what you've resisted.
And anything you see without judging completes itself.
So that is the key to having your life, not a life run by disagreeing with past moments.
Now, life shows up exactly as it does. And then there are times where we disagree with it, don't like it, don't want it. Those moments can impress themselves on us. It happens in little ways. It happens often when somebody has an interaction with somebody and you feel dissed by that person, or somehow it didn't go well.
Or you weren't heard, you weren't seen. And so you then complain to yourself about that circumstance or situation.
Yes. When we were reading to ourselves the description today, we recalled tragic events. They just popped up. And I recall when my mom passed away, she had been fragile and failing for a long time, but when the end of her life came, it came very quickly and rather unexpectedly. It was she had a physical breakdown that where her gallbladder failed, and it was not recoverable, and everything started to shut down. And Shya and I were there. My sisters were there. My sister's husband was there. We were all there with her. But she was not. It was like, I will not go silently into the good.
Right. She was not ready to go, even though she was ready.
So as she was dying, she kept saying, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And it was a tragedy in the making. And there was a while there when I closed my eyes at night, it would replay. And what unstuck the glue was my welcoming the movie. That it played. I don't know if it allowed me to say goodbye or allowed me to experience her distress. I don't know the why of it. I do know that not wanting it to replay would have kept it in place, and allowing it to run
until it ran itself out See, your disagreement with what you don't like keeps it in place. If oh, I wish we could do a visual here, but if I pushed against Ariel's hand, as we're doing,
If I fist, which I do, and he were to push against it, and we were to separate our hands, I'd still have the fist, but his hand would be curled around.
in the shape of that fist. The other thing is this: as long as I would be resisting her, I'd be stuck with what I was resisting. Because unless you let it go, it doesn't let you go. But as you push against anything, that is what dictates how your life shows up going forward in time. See, so any past event that you're stuck to, wishing were different, saying shouldn't have happened, that is where you get stuck. You get stuck at what you resist.
Particularly when you deem a moment in time as unfair.
Unfair, and it shouldn't have happened that way, except it did.
Let's take our first guest.
Oh, yes. Now we're ready. Now we're ready.
For you, Renee. Welcome to being here. Tell people where you're zooming in from.
Hi, I'm Renee. I'm zooming in from San Francisco, California.
Nice
And yeah, it's nice to hear you guys.
Mm.
I do have a question. I do this title really kind of jumped out at me because I it's very windy here today, and it's appropriate because I feel buffeted by my thoughts. I feel like I'm getting like stopping and starting, getting stuck. Um, because I keep replaying, just as you were just describing, Ariel. I keep replaying the last conversation that I had with a friend of mine who has clearly decided she just doesn't want to talk to me anymore, and it feels very unfair. And I don't like it.
Wait a second. So
Yes,
this is a friend of yours, but are you a friend of hers?
In her mind.
not she doesn't think so right now. No,
Well, now is all we got, okay?
true.
So if you were being a true friend, would you allow your friend to have their experience?
That's an interesting question
Oh, I know
because
it's.
I'm resisting that.
I know.
Really resisting that. See, you know me now.
No, 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 no. I do know you, but that's not the point. My point is
Mm,
very clear, and that is that if I'm truly a friend, I allow my friends to be the way they are and to have their opinions, and I don't try to manipulate them to get them to see it my way. And so if I had a friend who said, I don't want to be your friend anymore, I would say, good luck.
Okay.
Have a great life.
That being said, that information that your friend no longer wants to be in contact with you strikes a few places inside a person. In this case, you. One is you want to be liked, of course. You likely feel misunderstood. You wish she would discuss with you whatever it is that she has a problem with, and it's unfair that she won't. Is that a pretty good
that's
recipe?
this, yeah, and that last one feels like the sticking point because she hasn't articulated that she's not wanting to talk to me, but she clearly doesn't.
Well, hey, this may be an opportunity for you
To branch out and find new friends.
and step into your life rather than try to hold on to something that may no longer be appropriate. See, what if life is showing up perfectly, Renee? What if each moment that you're alive is a perfect moment and there's absolutely nothing wrong that things have turned out exactly as they did? See, one of the reasons you don't want to be responsible for her not wanting to be your friend.
Correct.
Yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. I don't know why. But just maybe you did things unawarely that she felt hurt, not seen, not heard, who knows what. And or maybe she just got upset one day and chose not to have you as a friend anymore.
Well, that seems accurate.
And the other thing is, what if nothing happened and she chose not to have you as a friend anymore? What if it's all she got upset and blamed her upset on you and said, you're the reason, so I'm not going to be around you? Rather than she's been upset many times in her life and you've had nothing to do with that.
Oh, I'm fairly certain that's what's going on. Yeah, yeah. I mean, she very much wanted to talk to me about things that she found difficult that I'm no longer finding difficult in my own life.
Ah,
And so,
see,
it's
that may be what's going on here. That you
yeah.
have, I mean, look, you've been attending seminars with us for quite a while now. I mean, not as long as some people, but longer than others. And in your life, I mean, things are getting better and better. You married the man you've been living with for how long have you been living with? 15 years?
16 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, it was close. That was a good guess on my part.
You
16
you were
years.
right on.
You married him a month or two back, correct?
Yes, I did.
I
Yes.
mean, so suddenly, if this friend of yours was a friend in complaint about how unfair life is and how unfair men are, and you end up getting married, you no
Right.
longer in her circle of complaint. You've moved past that. So maybe it's a good thing. See,
Right.
Renee, darling, it's all a good thing. I got to tell you, you're looking really good these days, too. So it can't be
Oh, well,
bought
thank you.
that much.
Yeah. Well, that's why I refer to it as getting stuck because I'll be like, kind of sailing along and then suddenly I'm like, "Wait, what was that?" And
Well,
But I then in that respect, your old friend becomes a new
Mhm.
friend, meaning if you're sailing along and you're not sure what to do next, where to go next, you're afraid you might be getting a little too expansive. All you have to do is pull in this disagreement with this old friend, and
now you don't have to
now
go
you
expand anymore.
keep occupied.
Yes, now you're locked in
Oh,
complaint about how your life is showing up because your friend no longer
It
wants,
gives you an excuse or a reason or an out to be small, Renee.
rather than the expansive version who's been showing up lately, who's got her fiance willing to marry her after 16 years, asking to marry you. You're doing something
yeah.
very different than you were not too terribly long ago when this person was a very much more important part of your life when you commiserated with her in your pain.
Now,
Is that a yes? This is what it is.
Yes. I think that's very accurate and very insightful. Thank you.
Yeah, well,
one thing is, though, it, I'm not saying you did anything wrong with your friend at all, but I do know that if you found a new way to
of
experience
relating
ever
to
to
life.
relating to life, and somebody speaks to you from an old way you used to look, it's easy to not have compassion for them that they're still there. So if you don't want to hear it because you don't want to touch back into how you've been, if you're afraid you're going to be pulled back into that, that may also be some of what she's registering. But it may be she's just not willing to make the leap. I was so impressed with you back in December when you realized late in the game that you wanted to join us in Costa Rica in January, and you not only registered and paid and did all the things you need to. You'd never had a passport. You went and you got a passport. You got it expedited. You got it. You handled all of these things that for most people would go, I want to go, but it's too late. I'm not worth it. That you just really jumped into your greatness. And sometimes that's frightening for people. They think they're going to be left behind, or they're not willing to make the jump. They don't think they are worth it, the investment. As you know, everybody's worst enemy is their thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. That makes a lot of sense.
So
Thank
next,
you.
there's that possibility where you start feeling like you're stuck with, gosh, she doesn't want to be my friend. You might want to just look out and see what's happening in your world, that's a good place to retreat to.
I'm glad you said that too, because one of the things that I find most helpful in all the many things we talk about uh, is eye contact, looking, listening. Because when I get stuck in my own thoughts, that brings me right out of it to just go, with my eyes and ears to be present. So I'll do that.
I just want to say one other thing about your friend. Um, People who attend seminars with us, they're not just our clients. We have a heart connection with people, and there are times where people choose to go other places in their life, like our paths diverge. And we always have the opportunity to hurt ourselves if they're moving another direction, or uh, really in the deepest part of our hearts embrace and wish them well, like really wish them well. And there are people we've parted ways with that they've gone far afield. They're doing other things in their life. And there are other people who we've wished well, who have come back into our lives. And both of them are very rich because it's not about us and it's not even about them. It's about allowing ourselves to embrace the perfection of life as it is.
That that I like a lot. Well, it feels real. I
Shia
don't
was
know how else to just.
listening to a podcast today with Woodward, who
Bob Woodward.
Bob Woodward, and he was talking about a statement that Nixon made at the end of his presidency when he was
Leaving office on his farewell speech. He said
something to this effect,
that his hating was what caused his downfall, that he allowed himself to hate, and hate causes your downfall.
And ate him up from the inside. And I think sometimes we can't just allow ourselves to feel loss. We want to build a case against that person, like they're unfair, rather than just feel.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense because I've had some significant loss as well in my life, and it's kind of like as I feel myself coming, away from that a little bit, to revisit it in a friendship, just, like a little piece of loss, I'm like, no more of that.
I'm not quite sure.
Well, her cat died, her dad died. It's like she's had other. So this got strung together
with that. Thank you.
Yeah, I made that connection.
I got it. Thanks for explaining that
Yeah.
to me.
I would just
Thank you for
separate pearls as opposed to string them on a necklace of loss.
Oh, yes. Yes, we talked once about gems and about having a string of gems.
So
Thank you.
Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome.
I appreciate that.
Today, Renee.
Yes, Renee. I like what I see.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Hey, it's time for the listener feedback spotlight.
It's where we get to hear from people in this amazing listenership and transformation community talking about what's happening in their lives.
This is Sandy in Prague, and what I love about the seminars with Ariel and Shya is that my life has just become so much easier, and I've become so much more proactive in my life. I used to be the person who would speak last, if at all, and now I tend, something comes up, I say it, and it's fun, and I don't hesitate, and I love that.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shya's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
If you'd like to join us for a weekend seminar, our next one happens April 22nd and 23rd.
It's called Step into Your Brilliance.
Isn't that easy? Stepping into your brilliance.
Right. And it's virtual, so wherever you are on the planet, pretty much you could join us.
Last week, Trey was talking about how incredible it is to be with people, and as was Teresa, and how awesome it is to be stepping into your brilliance with 30, 40, 50, 60 people, however many, who are doing the same thing. It is magic. You're invited. If you want to be with us in person, make your plans now. We're coming to Hamburg, Germany. We're doing the Freedom to Breathe on Thursday, May 25th. And the weekend seminar
is fun as the access way to enlightenment.
Is that great?
It is.
Fun
And get enlightened at the same time. Now, that's May 26th and 27th and 28th.
A Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. It's a holiday weekend in the States. It's Memorial Weekend and it's Pentecost weekend in Europe. So you are invited. Should we take our next guest?
Oh, let.
All right, Stephanie, speaking of Hamburg.
Hi guys, this is Stephanie from Rosengarten, which is a little south of Hamburg.
Yes.
And I will certainly join you in Hamburg for the seminars.
Great.
We're so happy you're going to be there.
Oh, of course, I wouldn't miss you.
What can we do for you, my dear?
Yes.
I have a question that in my very recent past, my cat Leo got injured like 4 weeks ago. One of his paws got hurt, like one of his claws needed to be taken off because he probably went into a fight with another cat. Anyway, he had to wear a cone, like something around his head so he couldn't lick his paw.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a little more than a week, we could take it off. It looked good. Everybody was happy. And then a week later, we went for a check into the vet, and the vet said, oh no, this doesn't look good. We need to do a little operation and see what happens. So he had his operation, and then she said, this really doesn't look good. He needs 2 more weeks wearing his cone. He needed a lot of medication. So I had to give him medication like 6 times a day. And give Leo medication is like trying to feed a tiger vegan. It was like he hated it. Well, last week we were like, oh, everything looks good, great. He did get his cone off on Monday. We went for the vet to have another checkup. And she said, I'm so sorry, but it doesn't really look good. He might need a little amputation on his, like get one paw off, and he will have another 14 days of wearing a cone. And I feel like I'm in my own personal Groundhog Day. And so I feel like I should be more relaxed about this, but my brain is like worrying about him and having to do this all over again. And I feel a little stupid. I'm so bugged by this.
Okay, I have a question that comes from the from left field, as they would say. I see your beautiful artwork behind you. I know that you've got artwork out there in the world and you've been contacting art dealers, etc. And I'm wondering, is that confronting enough to have a dramatic event with your cat keep you occupied so you don't have to go for your dream of being a world-renowned artist?
Yes, it
that,
is.
That's concise enough?
Yeah, that was perfect. I mean, I don't like my cat being ill and having, but yes, you are. Like, one of the galleries I reached out to like 2 months ago answered recently and said he's interested if I could send a catalog. He wants to show my artwork to clients. And I am accepted in a big art fair in April in the south of Germany, which already has gotten some good reviews on some major art papers. Not me, but the fair where I'm going to. And I know they did not accept everybody. They really looked at who will go. And my Instagram is going. People start following me that are actually art collectors. So things are really happening. And yeah,
Yes.
I get that.
So my question is that confronting?
Yes.
So it occurs to me, Stephanie, that if you go, I mean, I'm sorry to hear that your cat's paw may need an amputation and that it didn't heal up. I mean, that's the big picture. And of course, it's going to be uncomfortable if that happens, and there will be the cone, and then there'll probably be the multiple times of having to do medicine. But you can treat those medicine breaks as a way to get up, clear your head from working on your artwork, as opposed to, oh my God, I have to do this again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean,
Look, your cat will not like having medication. It's the way it is for cats. I remember once I had cats in New York City, and I moved from one place to the other. And when we put the cat in a carrying case, it pulled its nails out, because it tried so hard to get out of the carrying case. And then we bandaged its feet, and it didn't like that either. And it ran down the hall, shaking its feet, trying to get rid of the bandages. And there was nothing we could do about it. We just had to keep it until it healed.
This was before me. I'm glad I wasn't there for that.
It was kind of humorous, running down the road with the front two feet swinging from side to side, trying to shake off the Band-Aids.
I like Shya's question to you because you have a fact. The fact is that your cat has been injured. You've been taking the necessary steps, and it looks like there may be another step that needs to be taken, one that you would prefer not to do. But he asked you if having a drama with your cat is saving you. So it's not about the fact, it's turning the fact of that into a sticking point so that you don't have to keep embracing or
engaging in your life like it's your idea. And you include the cat drama as part of your life, but it doesn't be the focal point of what you do in your life.
Life is holistic. So if you're operating, it's not that it is your idea that Leo has an injured paw and there are steps you've been taking. It's that it's a fact. So you can engage with it as if it's your life, or you can engage with it as if this is not my idea, I don't want it. The problem is life is holistic. So then you don't want anything. Then getting things prepared, like getting back a portfolio in a responsive period of time becomes an issue as well.
That's what happened. Like everything turned into an issue all of a sudden. Like everything.
Well, when you're upset, everything is an issue.
Yeah.
And look, you love your cat. It's upsetting that he's hurt, but that's the way it is. And it can either dominate your life or you can live your life.
Yeah, it makes your question if my art and that things start happening is confronting was on point, because of course I'm upset he's hurt. I rather have him be happy and healthy, but usually I'm down to earth enough to know this is what it needs to be. I need to feed him medication. So what? I feed him medication, and you're absolutely on. Like, all this drama saves me from having to going forward and really go for the art fair.
Well,
And
not only that, so you've been an artist, becoming an artist your whole life, and that would terminate in that you'd be an artist. You'd be renowned as an excellent artist. People would buy your art, and that is a little confronting when your lifestyle has been becoming, in other words, change, incremental, as opposed to transformational, where in an instant you go from being a aspiring artist into being an accepted, well-known, well-renowned artist.
yeah, even when you say that, something Milo is like, oh.
Yes.
And I know people can't see you, but you're putting your hand in front of you like a stop. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, really fun speaking with you.
Yes, dear.
Just going back to last week's episode when we were speaking with Teresa, she was talking about, like, if you get upset, that she always has the idea that she shouldn't be getting upset by now. So I love how easily you're seeing that this may be a diversion, because it's so easy to get upset and then judge yourself for being upset. It's such a common thing. It's really nice that you're just saying, oh yeah, that would be useful.
Yeah.
Worrying about that, then I don't have to step into being world-renowned artist Stephanie from Rosengarten. So
cool. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, if you would like to submit a listener spotlight, the little information in the middle of this podcast about your experience of transformation, you are welcome to. Or if you would like to be a guest on this podcast, just go to transformationmadeeasy.com/being here and find out how. Next week's podcast.
What? How did that happen? Well, this.
Yeah, this happened. What? Okay. You'll have to tune in next week to find out what that's about.
Yes, so do I.
I have a feeling it has to do with age. Like, what?
How did that happen?
We'll be back next week. So come on back.
And don't miss being here.